Hello people of the internet, I'm assuming you've clicked on this video in the hopes of learning ways to speed up your WordPress workflow. You're in luck because just as the title suggests, that's what I'm going to be teaching you today. So without any further ado, let's get into it. To let you know that I know what I'm talking about, I'll just give you a bit of a background story. Feel free to skip this part using the chapters down below. I've been working on WordPress websites for quite a few years now. I'm currently running 4 websites which are all based on WordPress and use the GeneratePress theme. If you're unsure of what theme to go with, look no further than GeneratePress. It's the cleanest and fastest theme out there. The developer who brought us GeneratePress has also released Generate blocks, which add 4 absolutely fabulous blocks to the block editor. You might have guessed it by now, but I converted all of my sites to use the block editor. I don't understand the hate it gets. I like it and I use it all the time. With that out of the way, let me show you how you can speed up your WordPress workflow. The first thing I'm going to show you was added in one of the more recent updates and is possibly the biggest time saver in my personal WordPress workflow across all of my websites. You can convert any reusable block into a regular block. That might sound a bit counterintuitive at first because reusable blocks are meant to remain unchanged, right? Take this scenario. When using my YouTube block, I want the design to stay exactly the same. I'll want the border, the button and everything else to be there every time I embed it into an article. But the content, i.e. the linked YouTube video, has to be changed depending on the article. To achieve that, I turned my original YouTube block into a reusable block, and now every time I need it, I'll add the reusable block, turn it into a regular block and swap the video URL. The design remains uniform across all of my articles, but the content changes depending on where it is. Keep in mind that when changing a reusable block into a regular one, it becomes just that and nothing more. It is no longer related to the reusable block in any way. So if you were to edit the reusable block, the regular blocks won't be affected. Tip number 2, you can copy and paste blocks, and even multiple blocks. This even works between different websites. What you're seeing me do here is copying a block from liamalexcoleman.net and pasting it into an article on homeassistantguide.com. This does obviously require that you have the same blocks installed on both sites. As I use Generate blocks on all of my websites, that isn't much of a problem. The added bonus of using Generate blocks is that I can place all of my blocks inside of a container and then copy the whole container. I created this comparison box on one of my sites and then simply copied it and pasted it onto the others. All I had to do was change the colors and make it a reusable block so I could place it and edit it using tip number 1. Tip number 3, you can change the default color palette of your theme and your blocks. I could show you how to do that in this video, but I won't because honestly it doesn't make much sense to do so. But I do have a write-up on how to do it on my website. You will need to install a plugin and enter a few lines of code. As I said, there's no point in showing the code on video if you can copy it from the article, which I will link in the description. If you have defined the colors you want to use on your website, I suggest you do this. It will speed up things when deciding on colors for your blocks, and you won't have to open your design guidelines and copy the hex code anymore. Tip number 4. Screenshots and any other images can be pasted into your articles without having to add an image block. This might not be relevant to all, but because I write a lot of guides, I use it all the time. On Windows, you can click Windows plus Shift plus S to take a screenshot. In WordPress, I can then simply add a paragraph and press Ctrl plus V to paste the screenshot into it. As I said, this might not be relevant to you, but for anyone writing software guides, this can save a lot of time as you don't have to save and then upload the screenshot every single time. Tip 4.1. You can paste just about anything as a paragraph. For example, if you copy the URL from a YouTube video, you don't have to create a YouTube blog for that video to embed it. Simply paste the URL and it will be automatically turned into a YouTube blog. The same goes for tweets or any other supported blogs. And finally, tip number 5, you can drag and drop images directly from Windows Explorer into the WordPress block editor. You don't have to first add an image block or anything. Simply drag and drop the image and it will be uploaded and placed in your article. The same goes for the featured image. You don't have to click on the box to upload it. You can simply drag the image from Windows Explorer onto the box. And that's it. I do hope at least one of the things I mentioned was useful to you. If it was, please do hit the like button, as it really does help this video out. And if this video wasn't useful, you're still allowed to hit it just to show your support. As always, thank you very much for listening to me ramble on. Alright, I think it's been enough from me for one day. I will see you in the next one. Bye.